A Beller family member has entered into a plea deal after a sexual assault investigation earlier this year. And economists discover how the COVID-19 Omicron variant will impact you. And in sports, the Ohio women's basketball team is riding a hot streak. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Lexi Lepoff. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. Josiah Beller pled guilty today in the Athens County Common Pleas Court to felony charges of felonious assault and child endangering. Beller committed abusive acts against two juveniles while he was a juvenile. The acts were committed under the supervision of his parents, Robert and Deborah Beller. Beller is the first of four family members to be convicted after charges were filed earlier this year from a sexual assault investigation. Members of the Beller family were charged after the victim went missing as a juvenile and later resurfaced after turning 18 with allegations of sexual abuse by members of the Beller family. The victim was in attendance at the sentencing and said in a statement that Josiah Beller is a human piece of garbage. Josiah Beller did not make a statement. At least 3 people were killed in a shooting at a high school in Michigan. John Lawrence has the latest.
First responders caught on camera rolling stretchers into Oxford High School in Oxford, Michigan, after a lethal shooting rampage turned the school into a grisly crime scene.
It's unfortunate I have to report that we have 3 deceased victims right now who are all believed to be students. We have 6 others that were shot. 1 was a school teacher.
Police say the suspected shooter is a 15-year-old male sophomore student at the school.
Multiple shots were fired. He did not give us any resistance when he was taken into custody. He's currently being transported back to Pontiac for potential, he's already invoked his right to not speak. So he wants an attorney. He's not telling us anything at this point in time.
Authorities say they do not believe there is any active threat to the school or community at this time.
We will be doing social media checks. We will be talking to all the students, as many as we can that were here today.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
President Biden, while visiting Minnesota, said his heart goes out to the families during their unimaginable grief.
Hi everybody, I'm your weather forecaster Cam Kuzno, and we had a nice and warm day today in Athens, and that's going to begin to settle down, and we have a current temperature of 44 degrees and clear skies like they were the rest of the day today. Sunset tonight was at 5:07 p.m. and winds right now are calm but are expected to pick up throughout the day. Across the area right now, we'll see temperatures of 44 in Athens. They'll get a little bit colder towards the northwest of our viewing area in Columbus, and it's 45 degrees down in Arlington. 45 degrees down in Arlington, 43 in Jackson, 43 in Ripley, and if you continue east, it's 44 degrees in New Martinsville. And for the week ahead, we have some warmer weather ahead of us and rain potentially later in the evening tomorrow. Rain and snow also later in the week, and that's all I have. Back to you, Lexi.
Ohio Lieutenant Governor John Husted has been named in court filings in a lawsuit against former First Energy executives. Defendants say Husted could have potential evidence regarding accusations of wrongdoing in the nuclear power plant bailout saga. Shareholders accuse the former executives of breaching their trustee and beneficiary duties and unjustly enriching themselves when they played a role in the bribery scheme to bail out First Energy nuclear plants. The executives have not been charged, but First Energy agreed to a $230 million plea deal in the case. Husted says he has no idea why the former First Energy executives named him in the case and says no one has contacted him, but he is always happy to help.
But I'm always willing and happy to help anybody involved in the criminal justice system to find justice, whether that is a prosecution or an exoneration.
And in Fairfield County, several fire departments responded to a fire that destroyed a Pickaway County event center. The fire crews arrived Sunday night to the blaze at the pavilion at Orchard View Orchard View around 8 p.m. The pavilion, which opened in 2018, says on their website the 8,000 square foot building held weddings, bridal showers, and parties. Clear Creek Township Fire Chief Mike Wooford tells the Lancaster Eagle Gazette there were no injuries or fatalities. Wooford says that high winds hampered the firefighting efforts. Wooford also stated the cause of the fire is still unknown. Vaccine exemptions in Ohio could soon broaden, and how the new Omicron COVID-19 variant could undo economic progress in America. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Hi, this is Marion Ross. Please join me and Gavin McLeod in A Classic Christmas.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you.
Substantial, incisive, impartial. That's PBS NewsHour. For almost half a century, America's most trusted source for news and information. We'll explore how it all began, how it's endured through moments of joy and heartbreak, and why its integrity is still unmatched today. Join me, Danny Glover, for celebrating PBS NewsHour.
More than 100 million Americans suffer with chronic pain. Out of the blue, it can ruin lives and destroy relationships, but it doesn't have to be that way. The latest research shows that there's hope. With the revolutionary pain-brain connection, you can get your life back. Find out how to put advances in pain science to work for you. Join me, Deborah Roberts, for Pain Secrets, the science of everyday pain.
Coming up on the next Song of the Mountains.
The raindrops and hold back the sun. My world has ended. My baby's gone. And I rode my sound and my shoes are made for walking.
Lively performances where old tradition meets new here on Song of the Mountains.
A high-profile bill concerning COVID vaccines is headed to the state Senate committee hearings this week. The bill passed through the House mostly on party lines on November 18th. The bill would grant COVID vaccine mandate exemptions to anyone who wants them and ban the ability to require proof of vaccination status. The bill would also ban schools and colleges from being able to require COVID vaccines that have not gotten full FDA approval. The first Senate hearing is planned for this week. The first winners have been announced in the Ohio Vaccine Scholarship Lottery. The lottery is meant to encourage young people to get vaccinated against coronavirus. The Vax to School program is offering $2 million in prizes for Ohioans aged 5 to 25 who have received at least one dose of a vaccine and have registered for the program. 5 grand prize winners will get a $100,000 scholarship and 150 other winners will get $10,000 scholarships. The first 30 winners were announced Monday. Not much is known about Omicron, the new coronavirus variant, but the nation's top economists argue it has potential to hurt the economy. Isabel Rosales reports in Washington on the 3 major threats Omicron poses to the U.S. economy.
As COVID-19 infections have risen and fallen, so too has the U.S. economy.
October saw job growth and the unemployment rate fell.
But now the country's top economists warn Omicron has the potential to undo much of that economic progress.
The recent rise in COVID-19 cases and the emergence of the Omicron variant pose downside risks to the employment and economic activity and increased uncertainty for inflation.
Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, testifying before the Senate Banking Committee. Powell says if Omicron prolongs the pandemic, Americans could see prices continue to rise, job growth take a hit, and the current supply chain crisis get even worse.
Greater concerns about the virus could reduce people's willingness to work in person, which would slow progress in the labor market and intensify supply chain disruptions.
In the fall, as infections from the Delta variant fell, the economy gained traction. Powell predicted the U.S. economy would grow a strong 5% this year. But since investors learned about the new variant of concern, the markets have seesawed, taking sharp dips and rebounds. Another headache for Americans, inflation. Powell says it might linger.
We can now see, certainly through the middle of next year, it's an expectation.
As scientists rush to study Omicron, uncertainty remains, both on the medical front and the nation's economic health. In Washington, Isabel Rosales.
COVID hospitalizations are continuing to rise in Ohio. The state is experiencing a 57% increase in hospitalized COVID patients. As the holidays approach, so do the dangers related to the season. Among them, toys, batteries, lights, and decorations that could be a hazard for young children. To address this, the Senate Subcommittee on Consumer Protection, Product Safety, and Data Security held a hearing Tuesday. And as Camila Bernan explains, advocates push Congress to act.
Reese Hamsmith's mom described her as spunky, sassy, and full of life. But in October of 2020, the toddler swallowed a button battery. After countless surgeries, intubation, and sedation, she passed away at 18 months. And now her mother, Trista Hamsmith, is raising awareness.
Button batteries are a hidden hazard every day, but the risk exponentially rises during the holiday season.
Speaking at a Senate subcommittee hearing, Hamsmith also urging Congress to act.
There's a lot of work to do in educating the public. But in addition to education, enforcement is also important.
Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal and Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn even introducing a bill named after Reese that calls for stronger safety standards.
As a mom and a grandmother, I am especially attuned to all of this.
In addition to button batteries, the hearing addressing magnets, balloons, lights, and other hazards.
Given how common this problem is this holiday season, consumers should be on the lookout for counterfeits when shopping for any product.
But for Hamsmith, her daughter is a reminder that the hazards are always there. Which is why Reese is also her motivation to keep fighting so that Congress can help make it a little bit easier for parents. I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
If you or your child swallows a battery, immediately go to the emergency room. You can also call the National Battery Ingestion Hotline at 800-498-8666. Again, that is 800-498-8666. A popular television personality is running for United States Senate. That story still ahead.
And we've been treated to some nice and clear weather recently. Find out just how much longer that'll last for during my full forecast after the break. But as for right now, let's have a look at some stocks of local interest.
Alan Jackson.
This is my story.
Precious Memories, live at the Ryman.
Are you ours in the blood?
15 timeless songs recorded live at the Mother Church of Country Music.
When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away.
Alan Jackson, Precious Memories, live at the Ryman.
More than 100 million Americans suffer with chronic pain. Out of the blue, it can ruin lives and destroy relationships, but it doesn't have to be that way. The latest research shows that there's hope. With the revolutionary pain-brain connection, you can get your life back. Find out how to put advances in pain science to work for you. Join me, Deborah Roberts, for Pain Secrets, the science of everyday pain.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Hi, This is Marion Ross. Please join me and Gavin McLeod in A Classic Christmas.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Mama, it's lovely when the boys sleigh ride together with you.
Substantial, incisive, impartial. That's PBS NewsHour. For almost half a century, America's most trusted source for news and information. We'll explore how it all began, how it's endured through moments of joy and heartbreak, and why its integrity is still unmatched today. Join me, Danny Glover, for celebrating PBS NewsHour.
Hi everybody, I'm Cam Kuzno, and I'm certain almost everybody had a nice day today with the beautiful weather. And our visible satellite image clearly shows that that is a trend across the whole United States. It's clear up here in the Midwest and down towards the southeast, and it was absolutely wonderful today. Our surface analysis has cold fronts that will continue to push and lower these temperatures for us as the winter continues. Hour by hour tonight, clouds are going to start to develop at around 8 o'clock p.m. where we'll see a temperature of 37 degrees. At 10, this temperature will begin to steady just a little bit, and we will see continue to have some cloudier skies. And winds will calm down at around midnight, and we'll see a temperature of 33 degrees. That temperature will fall down to 31 through the night, and we'll see mostly cloudy skies. Sunrise will be at 7:34 a.m. and winds will be pretty calm tonight, between 0 and 3 miles per hour at a variable direction. Across the area, we'll see it all the way down to 30 degrees up in Cambridge and up to 33 in Arlington. Athens, we have 31, and that's the case for most of the surrounding area, except once you get a little bit towards the east, you'll see some warmer temperatures. Tomorrow, the hour by hour at 8 o'clock a.m., it'll be 38 degrees as winds will start to intensify as it gets a little bit warmer for the day. Temperatures will increase rapidly starting at 10 a.m. and around noon, it'll be 48 degrees, and we'll have another nice day tomorrow during the day. The high in Athens will be 52 degrees, and there is a slight evening chance of rain. There's a 40% chance of rain, which will happen around 8 or 9 p.m., and we'll have calm winds. This is a precipitation map across the United States for Tuesday and Wednesday, and we'll see a little bit of green, which will indicate that we're going to see roughly 1/4 inch of rain across the area. That chance of rain will persist, and it'll be 52 degrees in Athens. It will see the low 50s in most of our viewing area, but as you get towards the south, it starts to get pretty warm, 53 degrees in Ripley and 55 all the way down in Arlington. And that we'll have a warm front come through that's bringing us that nice weather. And for the week ahead, we'll see a 40% chance of precipitation tomorrow and highs all the way up into the 60s on Thursday. Friday, we'll have clear weather at 57 degrees, and Saturday and Sunday will also be pretty nice until Sunday evening, where we'll have a chance of rain. Monday, there's a potential chance of some evening snow showers, and on Tuesday, we'll have mostly cloudy skies, and the low that night will dip down to around freezing. That's all I have for my full forecast. Back to you, Lexi.
Thank you for that weather update, Cam. Dr. Oz is running for the U.S. Senate seat in the state of Pennsylvania. The cardiothoracic surgeon and television personality announcement came in an op-ed published today in the conservative Washington Examiner. Oz, who is running as a Republican, is an Ohio native, but he attended medical school at the University of Pennsylvania. His interest in the Senate race was first reported earlier this year in the Washington Free Beacon and Politico. The 61-year-old joins a primary field that already includes at least 2 Republican opponents. The winner in the general election will succeed retiring Republican Senator Pat Toomey. Barbados officially transitioned from realm to republic. In a ceremony last night, the nation bid farewell to Queen Elizabeth as its head of state and swore in its first ever president. Max Foster has more from Bridgetown, Barbados.
I, Sandra Prunella Mason, do swear that I will well and truly serve Barbados.
55 years after gaining independence from the UK, Barbados cuts its last formal tie to its former coloniser. The Royal Standard flag lowered and replaced by the Presidential Standard, marking the end of the Queen's reign on this island and a new future under a Barbadian-born head of state appointed by the Barbadian Parliament.
Our country and our people must dream big dreams and fight to realize them.
Prince Charles invited as a guest of honour amongst the likes of pop star Rihanna. He used the moment to acknowledge Britain's role in the slave trade.
From the darkest days of our past and the appalling atrocity of slavery, which forever stains our history, the people of this island forged their path with extraordinary fortitude.
It was unusually stark language from the UK, but disappointed those holding out for a formal apology.
Prince Charles is part of the royal family. The royal family contributed to slavery. The royal family benefited from slavery financially. And many of our African brothers and sisters died in battle, for change.
It was in the 1620s that British settlers arrived in this paradise, and they went on to build vast fortunes from the sugar and the slave trades. Calls for compensation for that dark period in British history grew louder during the Black Lives Matter protests, as did the push to a republic.
Clearly people in Africa, in this region, in all parts of the world, still feel that profound sense of injustice, and it's quite right that we recognise that we are determined that such a thing could never happen again.
The Queen is still head of state in 15 countries around the world, and Republican movements in those nations will be looking at what's happened here in Barbados and hoping that this will add momentum to their own campaigns. Max Foster, CNN, Bridgetown, Barbados.
The new republic will remain in the Commonwealth of Nations, an association of almost all former British colonies that promotes prosperity, democracy, and peace.
Coming up in sports, men's basketball hits the road for another big matchup tomorrow night. And right after the break, women's basketball earned a huge victory last night. Hear from the head coach when Newswatch returns. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look.
Hero, icon, father, patriot. Muhammad Ali was many things to many people throughout his life. Ken Burns, Sarah Burns, and David McMahon have created the most comprehensive and unblinking portrait of one of the most influential men in American history. Find out how they did it and relive the life of the greatest of all time. Join me, Keith David, for Ken Burns, Muhammad Ali.
Donate your car, truck, or boat today, and in addition to supporting the programs you love, you'll also qualify for our most popular member benefit, PBS Passport. With Passport, you can watch incredible documentaries and dramas from Masterpiece, American Experience, Ken Burns, Henry Louis Gates Jr., Nova, Nature, and more. So skip the hassle of selling that car you don't use anymore. Go online or give us a call right now to donate your vehicle.
Substantial, incisive, impartial. That's PBS NewsHour. For almost half a century, America's most trusted source for news and information. We'll explore how it all began, how it's endured through moments of joy and heartbreak, and why its integrity is still unmatched today. Join me, Danny Glover, for celebrating PBS NewsHour.
More than 100 million Americans suffer with chronic pain. Out of the blue, it can ruin lives and destroy relationships, but it doesn't have to be that way. The latest research shows that there's hope. With the revolutionary pain-brain connection, you can get your life back. Find out how to put advances in pain science to work for you. Join me, Deborah Roberts, for Pain Secrets, the science of everyday pain.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm Maria Manessi. Ohio women's basketball earned its third straight win with the dominating 98-54 victory against Florida A&M last night in the Convo. The Bobcats got off to a slow start, hitting just one of 13 three-point attempts. Ohio heated up in the second quarter and ended the night with 15 threes. All 5 Ohio starters reached double digits in points. The Bobcats forced 28 turnovers on defense. Head coach Bob Bolden says he is pleased with what he's seen out of his team defensively.
Just the emphasis on we've been better defensively in the last 3 games, and I think that offensively we're going to be okay in the long run, but defensively we need to put forth more effort and be in the correct spots more often, and we've taken that very seriously and shown improvement. So that's very exciting. You know, you're not going to shut anybody out, but 45 is a number we're pretty happy with.
The Bobcats are in action next against Richmond Saturday at the Convo. Ohio has yet to begin Mid-American Conference play, but it's never too early to look at the standings. Northern Illinois, Kent State, and Western Michigan take the first 3 spots. And with 3 straight wins, Ohio sits in the 7th spot with an overall record of 3-2. Mid-American Conference play for Ohio begins on December 29th at rival Miami. From there on, it's all conference games for the Bobcats as they fight for a spot in the MAC tournament. Ohio men's basketball gets back to action tomorrow night against Power 5 opponent. The Bobcats travel to take on LSU. The Tigers are the Bobcats' second Power 5 opponent of the season. Ohio faced Kentucky a few weeks back and lost 77-59, but hung around with the Wildcats for a majority of the game. LSU was an 8 seed in the NCAA tournament last season, and like the Bobcats, advanced to the round of 32. Tip-off from Baton Rouge is at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Ohio hockey is back on the ice after a week off from games. The Bobcats are ranked 7th in the American Collegiate Hockey Association with standings with 13-7 record. Not far ahead is Niagara, which Ohio plays host to this weekend. Niagara ranked 5th and has a 13-3 record. Ohio earned its second series sweep of the season, last time out with big wins against Roosevelt on the 19th and 20th. Puck drop against Niagara is set for 7 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. The NFL is entering the final full month of regular season games. Matchups are more crucial as the playoff picture continues to take shape. Both the Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati Bengals are fighting for a spot in the AFC. With the Bengals win on Sunday, they hold the top wildcard spot. The Browns' loss to division opponent Baltimore has them on the outside looking in and in desperate need of a win. This week, the Bengals host an AFC matchup with the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Browns have a bye. I'm Maria Manessi, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Lexi.
Rover.com released the annual report on 2021's most popular pet names. While the usual names like Max and Bella, Oliver, and Luna remained favorites for dog and cat owners, choosing pandemic-inspired names was also on the rise. According to Rover, the use of Fauci as man's best friend jumped 270% this year, while COVID as a pet name rose 35%. Pet owners were also inspired by working from home technology and content on streaming services. Rover saw a significant increase in animals named Zoom, Siri, and Google. And Grogu from Disney Plus's The Mandalorian was the #1 trending dog name in the country. Now let's head over to Cam for a final look at weather.
Thank you, Lexi. And tomorrow in Athens, we'll see a high of 52 degrees and skies will be mostly cloudy for most of the day. 40% chance of rain in the evening and there will be calm wind. Temperatures will remain relatively stable across the area. And that's all I have for final weather. Back to you, Lexi.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. Have a
Support comes from Hocking Valley Bank, offering mortgage loans or refinancing on an existing home, making it easy for dreams to become a reality. Hocking Valley Bank, We know loans. Support comes from Ohio University's Center for Campus and Community Engagement, fostering mutually beneficial partnerships between faculty, staff, and students.